Hi everyone, welcome back to the day 7 of Debunking 7 Cardinal Sins series. Today is our last day and we will talk about greed today. Yesterday, uh, actually, let me start again. Hi everyone, welcome back to Debunking 7 Cardinal Sins series. Today is our last day, is greed. My name is Kate Emerald, the founder of Global Healing Movement 2020 and Life of Emerald. Yesterday we spoke about sloth, and the definition of sloth is laziness and slowness in the mindset. And the opposite of sloth for balance is diligence. And diligence is the careful and persistent work or effort. And the analogy I gave was a car. From upgrading your van to Ferrari is the imagery I gave between upgrading from the slothness to diligence. And the key is to finding the middle ground, the middle balance. And the underlying emotion behind sloth is worry about mocked by the world. And the diligence is the attention and care that you put each day in order to accomplish a goal. Today, the greed is an inordinate or insatiable longing, especially for money, status, and power. And the underlying feeling of greed is that there is a deprivation of being neglected and vulnerable. And so we can and we tend to create a story, narrative, that the more we acquire, the more happy we feel, which is true and false, depending on the context. And the underlying fear of greed is that there's a desperation of some sort. Okay. And when when we have all the physical material in the world, it looks advantageous from the perspective of outsider. But there can be, if you look inside their emotional interior reality and perhaps their family dynamic, there is and can be a desperate disconnection and so on. So the point here is that what you see, there is more beneath the surface. Okay. The paradox of greed is under the narrative that the more we have, happier we be. In theory, in idea, it's so believable, right? However, the more ownership comes stress. According to the Buddhist philosophy, walking the middle path, the balanced path, it comes down to the concept of ownership. Let's say when a rich person owns 5 houses and a poor person has 1 spoon under their name, right? And what is going to determine their consciousness and their way of relating to their ownership, the houses and the spoon, is about their relationship to attachment and identification. I believe A wealthy person can be very content and live a middle path. Also, I believe the poor person, if they choose to be poor, then they can, depending on their choices, they can walk a middle path as well. I think I have to be careful with the words here, because sometimes being poor is not a choice, right? But I hope you follow my logic, because, okay, so the key point here is the attachment. A poor person can be attached to somebody and feel suffering. A rich person can feel attachment to somebody and feel suffering. A poor person can feel no attachment to the spoon and not have suffering in that term. A rich person can have non-attachment to the 5 houses they have and no suffering, less suffering. That's the logic. Of course, I'm generalizing, but the opposite of greed is, what do you think? Can you make a comment? The opposite of greed is charity. Charity. Charity, according to the Hebrew word, is called truma, is to lift up on high, and also it means a sacred donation. And all sacred contribution is by donating the assets to charity, the value is lifted up. And the act of charity is uplifting your heart and uplifting the heart to lift things up. And extending our hearts in compassion, lift the moral up and preserve the virtue of charity. And charity is a voluntary giving of help, typically in forms of money or to those in need, out of the heart. Yeah. According to the Bible, Luke 11, the habit of charity extends not only to the love of God, but also to the love of our neighbor. Let's play with this idea of unattachment and unidentification. Many of my suffering in the past came from attachment. Let's say you live in a house and you recently lost a job. The job is no longer with you. Let's say that. And when you imagine your sense of worth is tied to what you do for the company and how much accolation you receive from your colleagues, is in itself an attachment. Your identity is attached to the work. So let's flip it. If you were to be unattached to your work, or your identity is not attached to the performance, I can guess that you are okay with not having a job in terms of, the attachment. The money is a separate thing. And also, if you were working on a big project and it suddenly got cut off, let's, for example, examine how you feel inside. after this incident? Have you been identifying your self-worth to this project A, B, and C? What if you disidentify with this project as who you are? Yeah. I hope by inquiring these questions to yourself honestly, that my intention is to lessen the suffering. And war, right? War happens because country A has a conflicting interest with country B. And in order for A to get what B has, they declare war. Let's zoom out. Big picture now. We're looking from the cosmos, looking into Earth. If country A can respect the country B for what they have as a valuable asset, and country B understands that they have a valuable asset to offer, could there be a mutual collaboration? Yeah. My string of thought came from non-identification. Let me go back to the drawing board. War happens because country A wants to take from country B. Yeah. For example, what if country A understands and respects that what country B has is as a blessing, as a blessing for country A. So meaning, when she is happy, I am happy. When Thailand has beautiful things, Bangladesh is happy. There's no need to take each other's asset. Okay, so the unmet pain in us manifests as 7 cardinal sins, and it's a time to reform old beliefs into a new one. Purgatory, heaven or hell, that theory, I like to advocate for this idea that heaven or hell is a state of consciousness where we are in, and we can cultivate heaven-like life experiences living on Earth. And the 7 cardinal sins I mentioned throughout this week, they are pride, envy, wrath, gluttony, lust, sloth, and greed. And the opposites of all them are humility, kindness, patience, temperance, chastity, diligence, and charity. Wherever you are in the spectrum between these 2 ideas per session, example, the wrath and patience, right? These 2, wherever spectrum you are in, be gentle on yourself. where even if you're on the wrath spectrum, this does not make you a bad person. Even if you're in the patience spectrum, this is not, I'd say it's neither good or bad. Yeah. So we want to explore and bring these two ideas or two words in the middle and see what works best for you in what circumstances and what situations. Context defines how you use the virtues and energy that fits each scenarios. Okay? Yeah. Finally, I like us all to entertain the idea that we are all one humanity connected in, let's say, one fabric, like one fabric of existence, and we happen to have an individualized experience. You, me, mother, father, Thailand, Vietnam, England, Korea, America, different countries also, and independent, individualized, individualization of a country expression in many, amongst the many cultures. The concept that I am trying to get at is that when everyone respects each other and honors each other and gives show up in a way that we are dignified and have integrity, imagine what the world would be like. I would end with a quote by Alan Watts. He says, "True diversity happens when everyone wakes up to their truest potential." I hope you continue on your journey to self-discovery and have a lot of fun doing it, learning about yourself, your magnetic self. And here's where we end this 7-series session on debunking cardinal sins. My name is Kate Emerald, the founder of Global Healing Movement 2020 and Life of Emerald. I can be found at www.lifeofemerald.com. See you later. Bye.